The distress signal. The story opens in the year 2387 aboard the human Deep Space Monitoring Station, Watchdog 7, orbiting the edge of human space. Commander Jake Mills sits in the command center when his communications officer, Lisa Park, picks up an unusual transmission. The signal is weak, fragmented, and broadcasting on ancient emergency frequencies that haven't been used in decades. The message is in broken English, mixed with an unknown alien language. Through the static, they hear desperate pleas. "Help us. The hunters come. We know of your kind. The Deathworld warriors, please." The transmission cuts to coordinates deep in unexplored space, followed by what sounds like weapons fire and screams. Jake immediately contacts Earth Command. Admiral Tom Ross, a grizzled veteran of the Martian Independence War, receives the report with interest. Earth's xenobiologists have long theorized about alien life, but this is first contact, and it's a cry for help. The alien message contains fragments of human history, mentioning Earth's wars, the nuclear age, and calling humans the ones who survived the Death World. This puzzles Earth's leaders. How do these aliens know about humanity's violent past? Dr. Emma Stone, Earth's leading xenolinguist, works frantically to decode more of the message. She discovers references to something called the Great Hunt and mentions of star killers who destroy entire worlds for sport. The aliens seem to believe that only humans, survivors of Earth's harsh conditions and endless conflicts, can stand against this threat. Within hours, Earth's War Council convenes. The debate is intense. Some argue it's a trap, others that humanity isn't ready for interstellar war. But Admiral Ross makes the deciding argument. If someone is calling for help, and they specifically asked for us, then they must have a damn good reason. The chapter ends with the activation of humanity's secret weapon, the Terra Defense Fleet. Massive warships that have been hidden in asteroid belts and behind moons begin to move. Ships with names like Iron Maiden, Berserker, and Last Stand power up their engines. The aliens asked for Deathworlders, and Earth is about to deliver. The fleet assembles. The Terra Defense Fleet emerges from hiding across the solar system. These aren't exploration vessels. They're pure warships built in secret after humanity's close calls with asteroid impacts and solar flares taught them that the universe was trying to kill them. Captain Maria Santos commands the flagship Valkyrie, a massive dreadnought armed with kinetic cannons that fire tungsten rods at significant fractions of light speed. Her crew includes veterans from Earth's various conflicts, the Water Wars, the Arctic Rebellion, and the brutal fighting on Titan's mining colonies. The fleet consists of 12 major warships and 40 smaller vessels. Each ship carries weapons that other species might consider war crimes: nuclear torpedoes, antimatter charges, and experimental plasma weapons. Humanity's approach to warfare has always been simple. If something threatens you, you don't just defeat it, you make sure it can never threaten anyone ever again. As the fleet travels toward the coordinates, they receive additional transmissions. The aliens, calling themselves the Keth, send more desperate messages. Their homeworld is under attack by the Ravagers, a species that considers warfare a form of entertainment. The Ravagers have destroyed 17 civilizations for sport, turning their conquest into elaborate games broadcast across their empire. Dr. Stone, now aboard the Valkyrie, works with the ship's AI to understand Keth culture. She learns that the Keth are peaceful traders who discovered humanity through intercepted television broadcasts from the 20th century. They watched human wars, human survival against impossible odds, and human refusal to surrender even when facing extinction. The Keth had catalogued Earth as a Class 12 death world, a planet so hostile that any species evolving there would be, by definition, nearly indestructible. They reasoned that if humans could survive Earth's ice ages, supervolcanoes, asteroid impacts, and their own tendency toward warfare, they might be the only species capable of defeating the Ravagers. Meanwhile, the Ravager fleet surrounds the Keth homeworld of Sanctuary. The Ravagers, led by Warlord Grimm, broadcast their intentions across local space. They plan to make the Keth extinction a 3-day spectacle, slowly destroying their cities while the population flees in terror. Captain Santos studies the tactical data. The Ravagers have superior numbers and technology, But their approach to warfare is theatrical. They want to put on a show, which means they'll be predictable. Humans, on the other hand, have spent millennia perfecting the art of killing efficiently. The chapter ends as the human fleet drops out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the sanctuary system. The Ravagers detect them immediately, and Warlord Grimm laughs at the small human force. He's never heard of humans before, but he's always enjoyed crushing newcomers. He has no idea that he's about to face a species that considers warfare a necessary evil and approaches it with the same ruthless efficiency they use for everything else. First contact with violence. The Ravager fleet is impressive. Over 60 ships arranged in a theatrical formation around the Keth homeworld. Their vessels are sleek, decorated with trophies from conquered worlds and built more for intimidation than efficiency. Warlord Grimm's flagship, the Painbringer, broadcasts a message to the human fleet. Unknown vessels, you have entered a Ravager hunting ground. Surrender now, and we may allow you to watch as we destroy these pathetic Keth. Your ships are small and few. Do not embarrass yourselves. Captain Santos responds with characteristic human directness. This is Captain Santos of the Terra Defense Fleet. You have exactly 60 seconds to withdraw from this system, or we will remove you. Grimm's laughter echoes across the communication channel. The Ravagers have conquered species with fleets 10 times larger than this small human force. He decides to make an example of these newcomers, ordering his ships to surround and capture the human vessels for his entertainment. The battle begins when the Painbringer fires a warning shot across the Valkyrie's bow. Captain Santos doesn't hesitate. She returns fire with a full broadside of kinetic rounds. The tungsten rods, traveling at 30% light speed, punch through the Ravager ship's shields like they don't exist, tearing massive holes through the hull. The Ravagers are stunned. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons and conventional missiles, not solid projectiles moving at relativistic speeds. But they recover quickly, bringing their superior numbers to bear. What follows is unlike any battle the Ravagers have ever fought. Human ships don't engage in elaborate maneuvers or theatrical displays. They fight like cornered animals, using every dirty trick in the book. The destroyer Mad Dog rams a Ravager cruiser, detonating its antimatter core in a controlled explosion that takes out 3 enemy ships. The Iron Maiden launches a spread of nuclear torpedoes, but these aren't normal nukes. They're enhanced with nanotech that turns the explosion into an expanding cloud of radioactive death. Ravager crews begin dying from radiation poisoning even inside their supposedly safe ships. Commander Rick Stone, Maria's brother, pilots the stealth ship Ghostwalker through the enemy formation, planting antimatter charges on Ravager hulls. The explosions come in sequence, taking out ship after ship with surgical precision, but the humans are vastly outnumbered. The Berserker takes critical damage and crashes into Sanctuary's moon in a controlled descent. The Last Stand sacrifices itself to protect the Valkyrie, ramming Grimm's flagship and detonating every weapon in its arsenal. On the surface of Sanctuary, the Keth watch in amazement. They've never seen anyone fight the Ravagers with such calculated ferocity. Human ships don't retreat when damaged. They become more dangerous, using their own destruction as weapons. Warlord Grimm, his flagship crippled but still functional, realizes he's facing something unprecedented. These humans don't fight for glory or entertainment, they fight for annihilation. Every human tactic is designed to kill as efficiently as possible. The chapter ends with the human fleet battered but victorious in the first engagement. Half the Ravager ships are destroyed or disabled, but the humans have lost a third of their force. Captain Santos surveys the battlefield and makes a grim calculation. They can win this fight, but it's going to cost everything. On Sanctuary's surface, the Keth leader Elder Moss broadcasts a message to both fleets. The Deathworlders have come. The great hunt ends here. The Deathworld advantage. The battle enters its second phase as Warlord Grimm retreats to regroup his remaining forces. He's shaken by the humans' fighting style. They seem to consider their own lives expendable if it means completing their mission. This is completely alien to Ravager thinking, where individual glory and survival are paramount. Captain Santos uses the lull to coordinate with the surviving Keth fleet. The Keth ships are beautiful, but fragile, built for exploration and trade, rather than warfare. However, their technology is more advanced than humanity's in some areas. Elder Moss, speaking from his flagship Peaceful Dawn, offers to share their shield technology. Dr. Emma Stone works frantically to integrate Keth defensive systems with human weapons. The combination proves devastating. Human kinetic weapons protected by Keth energy shields create an almost unstoppable combination. The humans can now attack without fear of return fire. Meanwhile, the human ground forces prepare for planetary assault. Colonel Dave Hunter leads the Terra Marines, elite soldiers trained for combat in any environment. These aren't peacekeepers. They're killers bred on a world that tried to murder them every day for millions of years. The Ravagers make their fatal mistake by attempting to use the Keth population as hostages. Grimm broadcasts an ultimatum: surrender or watch as his troops hunt Keth civilians for sport in their cities. He expects the humans to negotiate, as most civilized species would. Instead, Captain Santos responds with cold fury. Warlord Grimm, you just signed your species' death warrant. The human fleet launches an immediate assault on the Ravager ground forces. Drop pods containing Terra Marines slam into Sanctuary's surface like meteorites. The Marines emerge from their pods already firing, moving through Keth cities with practiced efficiency. The Ravagers discover that fighting humans on the ground is even worse than space combat. These Marines have trained in every conceivable environment: Arctic wastelands, scorching deserts, toxic swamps, and radioactive ruins. Sanctuary's pleasant climate is like a vacation for them. Sergeant Bull Morrison leads his squad through the capital city, hunting Ravager shock troops. The aliens are skilled warriors, but they're used to fighting terrified civilians and ceremonial guards. The Marines fight like apex predators, using urban warfare tactics perfected in Earth's endless conflicts. The Ravagers attempt to use their superior technology, deploying powered armor and energy weapons. But the Marines adapt instantly, using improvised explosives and environmental hazards. When Ravager troops take cover in a building, the Marines don't assault it. They collapse the entire structure. In space, the final battle begins. Captain Santos coordinates a complex maneuver, using Sanctuary's gravity well to slingshot her remaining ships at impossible velocities. The Valkyrie and her escorts come screaming out of the planet's shadow, weapons blazing. The Ravagers, already demoralized by the ground fighting, break formation. Their entire military doctrine is based on intimidation and superior firepower. But the humans seem immune to fear and use their own weaknesses as weapons. Warlord Grimm makes a last desperate attempt to escape, but Commander Lisa Park, now piloting the damaged cruiser Revenge, intercepts his ship. Her final transmission is simple: for the Keth and for Earth. The Revenge rams the Painbringer at full speed, both ships disappearing in a massive explosion that lights up Sanctuary's sky like a second sun. The chapter ends with the surviving Ravager ships fleeing in panic. They've never encountered a species that approaches warfare with such absolute commitment to victory. The humans don't fight for glory or entertainment. They fight for extinction of their enemies. On Sanctuary's surface, the Keth emerge from their shelters to find Marines standing guard over Ravager prisoners. The humans have won, but at terrible cost. Only 6 human ships remain operational, and casualties are heavy. Elder Moss approaches Captain Santos as she surveys the battlefield. You came when we called, he says simply. The galaxy will remember that the Deathworlders answered. The new Galactic Order 3 months after the Battle of Sanctuary. The galaxy has changed forever. News of humanity's victory spreads through trade routes and communication networks, carrying a simple message. The Ravagers, terror of 17 civilizations, have been defeated by a species no one had ever heard of. Captain Santos, now promoted to Admiral, stands in the rebuilt command center on Sanctuary. The planet has become the headquarters of the new Galactic Defense Alliance, a coalition of species united under human military leadership. The irony isn't lost on her. Humanity left Earth to escape their violent past only to find that the galaxy needed their violence to survive. The surviving Ravagers have been scattered across their former empire, their military broken and their will to fight destroyed. Some have surrendered, others have fled to the galactic rim, but all carry the same message. Humanity cannot be defeated through conventional warfare. Dr. Emma Stone has been working with representatives from dozens of species, all wanting to understand how humans achieved the impossible. Her reports are sobering. Humanity's advantage wasn't superior technology or numbers, but their relationship with death itself. Every other species treats warfare as an extension of politics, she explains to the Galactic Council. Humans treat it as an extension of survival. We don't fight to win territory or resources. We fight to ensure our enemies can never threaten us again. The Keth have become humanity's closest allies, sharing their advanced technology in exchange for protection. Elder Moss has established a cultural exchange program, sending Keth scientists to study Earth's history. They're particularly fascinated by humanity's ability to cooperate despite their violent nature. Back on Earth, the revelation of the Terra Defense Fleet has caused political upheaval. Admiral Tom Ross addresses the United Earth Council, explaining the need for the secret military buildup. We built those ships because we knew someday something would try to kill us all, he says. We just didn't expect that something would. Ask for our help first. The galaxy's power structure has shifted completely. Species that once cowered before the Ravagers now look to humanity for protection. Trade routes are being re-established under human escort, and former Ravager territories are being liberated by joint human-alien task forces. But victory comes with responsibility. Commander Jake Mills, now running the Deep Space Monitoring Network, reports that other threats are stirring in the dark corners of the galaxy. The defeat of the Ravagers has created a power vacuum, and something else is moving to fill it. The Devourers, an ancient machine race that consumes entire star systems, have been detected on the galactic edge. The Plague Bearers, biological weapons, left over from a forgotten war, are spreading through abandoned sectors. And deep in the galactic core, something that calls itself the Eternal Empire is awakening after millennia of slumber. Captain Santos addresses the assembled fleet commanders on Sanctuary. The Terra Defense Fleet has been rebuilt and expanded, incorporating the best technology from a dozen species. New ships with names like Earthbreaker, Void Hunter, and Final Answer patrol the trade routes. The Ravagers called us Deathworlders, she tells her officers. They thought it was an insult. They didn't understand that surviving on a death world doesn't just make you tough, it makes you responsible for protecting those who can't protect themselves. The human fleet stands ready, not just as Earth's military, but as the galaxy's guardians. They've learned that their violent nature, the very thing they tried to leave behind, is exactly what the universe needs. The story concludes with a transmission from deep space, another distress call, this time from the outer rim where the Devourers are advancing. The message is brief. To the Deathworlders who saved Sanctuary, we need you again. Admiral Santos doesn't hesitate. The fleet begins moving toward the new threat, carrying with them the lesson learned at Sanctuary. Sometimes, the only way to preserve peace is to be better at war than anyone else. As the human ships disappear into hyperspace, Elder Moss records a final entry in the Keth historical archives. Today, the Deathworlders went to war again. The galaxy sleeps safely because of it. The last image is of Earth, blue and beautiful and deadly, spinning in space as ships launch, from hidden bases toward the stars. Humanity has found its place in the galaxy, not as explorers or traders, but as the species other civilizations call when the monsters come knocking. The Deathworlders are coming, and the universe will never be the same.